What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, we got to talk about some interesting comments Jenna Ortega made about Scream 7. I'm sure the internet is handling it as positively and calmly as humanly possible. No, I mean, like everything with Scream 7, it's really sparked a lot of different stuff, and look, at the end of the day, I feel like a decision was made, and I honestly respect the decision. I feel like it doesn't change anything. I feel like, the more you get into it, the messier it gets and the more kind of double standards are revealed from you that we can talk about. Chris Landon and also all sorts. We talk about a lot, right? People that boycott one thing versus another, oftentimes I feel like just pick on any given day. They don't really have like the legitimate backing. Because if they did have the legitimate backing, it would be more widespread than it really is. So that's always been my opinion. So let's read Jenna Ortega's comments on why, and this is, I would say, pretty impactful. It took us like a year and a half plus to get to this. Actually, no, almost about a year and a half. But we finally know why she quit Scream 7, why she wasn't coming back. So she said it had nothing to do with pay or scheduling. The Melissa stuff was happening, and it was all kind of falling apart. If Scream 7 wasn't going to be with that team of directors and those people I fell in love with, then it didn't seem like the right move for me in my career at the time. It's pretty straightforward, and I can completely understand it. I feel that, and I feel like really as time will, like, it's hard because I want to kind of talk like from the future, right? Like when time goes on, and we've already kind of done this with the Scream, just universe in general. You can really kind of break it up into like fragments of like eras. There are different eras of Scream, right? Scream 1 through 3, Scream 4, and then Scream 5 and 6 as of now. So we've already done this is the interest. Now, there's been drama, but there's also kind of been drama like throughout the entire thing. Scream 4, just like bombing in the box office and not being able to get that, eventual Scream 5. Really, it went even before Scream 4 came out, right? Like the rewrites and swapping people out and all sorts of stuff. Like Scream 4 was going to be kind of radically different. So you have that, then you had like the pivot to the TV show, then you had 5 and 6 under new management and this kind of dilemma of like, well, what do you do without Wes Craven? Can you even do Scream without Wes Craven? Well, now it's a passing of the torch thing. Well, now Sidney Prescott, the face of the franchise besides Ghostface, isn't even in Scream 6. So we've had all these different eras, and I get it. Like, she had fun in 5 and 6. That was her era. And when you change that on somebody, you're not going to really want to participate. And that, now here's the thing. It depends on who you are, because this is her, and this, Melissa had her own, Melissa Barrera had her own thing that happened, right? And then Jenna Ortega kind of followed suit, but also I feel like was put into that situation of, okay, everything is changing, the directors aren't coming back, and that's its own kind of side story, right? They're not coming back, we're going in this different direction, all this, and then also the Melissa stuff, and I just don't feel a part of it, and I can respect that. Now, on the other side of things, right, like a Mason Gooding and Jasmine Savoy Brown, right, like they didn't feel that, I guess, in the same way. Now, their role was always kind of different. Maybe their connection with Melissa Barrera was different. So everybody's a little bit different, and now this is a new era. I've said it for a while. People have said even like today, is it possible for like eras to return? And I think the answer is actually yes, right? Like new management and kind of this new blood and maybe this new willingness to bring it back to what we had with 5 and 6 in the future would maybe result in a Melissa and Jenna thing coming to fruition 10 years from now. They got time. Like, you don't have to do this right now. So, I don't know. To me, like, I feel like people have gone on, like, the attack on kind of both sides. I feel like people have, like, pivoted and turned to attack Jenna Ortega. And I think people have also, as always, kind of pivoted and attacked. Like, okay, you see, she did do it in solidarity with Melissa. Scream 7 is evil for this, and that. Well, we've already had people, I guess, leave the side with, like, Mason and Jasmine. So, like, again, it just gets messy because, some people will boycott Scream 7, but they'll see movie X, Y, or Z, which will have some sort of connection to the evilness that they believe Scream 7 is. So, again, so much of it, I believe, is not even really all that real. But this is, again, kind of sparked it. I don't really see why this needs to be attacked. I don't see two different things, because I also think there's other things that go on. this doesn't need to get attacked. I don't think Jenna Ortega as a person needs to get attacked. I don't think Scream 7 needs to get attacked. I also don't think it should diminish, which is also kind of where Scream fans go, which I don't really get. It doesn't have to diminish like the impact of 5 and 6. I think a lot of people will use this as an opportunity to say like, well, they were never good characters anyway, and like sayonara, we never needed you. I just don't think you need to say that. Now again, maybe there's like a bias. It's like I really liked 5 has grown on me through time. I've always said like I'm a hard Scream 6 defender, and I like those characters. So I don't know. I feel like you're kind of rewriting history, because I feel like a lot of people really liked Tara, specifically in 5, and then really liked her and Chad's relationship in 6. I think Tara was slightly like brought down a little bit in 6 compared to the strength, but she was in it more, and there was a different kind of focus on her in 6. So I don't know. I just don't feel like it's necessary to go on the attack here. But there you have it. Again, I guess you officially have the reasoning, because even I was fooled. I mean, originally you kind of know, right? Because like Melissa gets fired, and then what was like the next day that she quit. So it's like, all right, it was incredible timing. So it was probably because of that. But then, as time goes on, it's like, well, she's very busy. She's jumping between like 6 different, she's in like 4 or 5 movies a year. So you have all that stuff. And then, Wednesday seemingly takes like 7 months to film for some reason. So it's like, okay, would she have been able to do it anyway? And remember, even the reports originally is that even if this thing was going to go straight ahead, she was only actually going to be in it a couple days of filming, and she might actually have been killed off. So it's like in this alternate universe, would she even have filmed all that much, and they would have just killed her character? I don't even know if I wanted that, right? So it's like you gotta be careful, like, I guess, what you wish for. But as time went on, there was this growing belief where it's like, well, maybe it was really just scheduling. At the time, there were major outlets reporting there was also pay discrepancies, right? Like I believe it was like she wanted $1 million plus, or she wanted to get into the multi-million. I think so did Melissa, and the studio wanted to kind of cheapen it. But you have it right from her, right? Like she's probably the best source that it wasn't about the money and it wasn't about the scheduling. The scheduling, I don't know, because I feel like she's been rather busy. But I do believe her that the defining reason why this did not happen is that if Melissa stayed, she would have stayed, right? Now, how much she would have been in it, again, like that's a what if kind of scenario, right? So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.